What's up, everybody? This is Alex Kelly back here with another episode of the Furloughed Film Talks podcast with my bro Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
This is our Wednesday episode. We are coming to you from the upstairs, from the great beyond. I don't know, what should we call this studio that we've got for probably 5 more months, Ryan?
5 more months?
4 more months, maybe?
May, June, July, August.
Yeah, 4?
3.
3?
1, 4.
4 more months?
4 more months.
We're great at math.
I don't know. This is just our studio loft.
Studio Loft, the Studio Loft A with our doggo Max. We are back here with a great episode for y'all. We are going to dive into the absolute insanity that went down on Sunday with the Oscars, the biggest surprise of the night, which will lead right into our review of the movie The Father, starring Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman, which we watched last night.
After the Academy Awards,
yes,
unfortunately.
But, you know, we've seen all 9? 8 or 9?
What, Best Picture?
Nominations.
Yeah.
So
that was a weird one to get nominated for Best Picture, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah.
We'll get into all of our thoughts about that. But before we get into our first story of the day, remember, we are streaming our stuff on YouTube now. You can subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, you will get all of the latest movie news, TV news, all of our interviews, which we interview a lot of really, really cool people. We interviewed the director for the last blockbuster months before it was put on Netflix. We interviewed Stephen Bishop, Elfer Adelstein. Ton of great actors, directors. You'll get access to all that, all those interviews. So a lot of great content for you guys. Just subscribe to the channel, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and to keep up to date with everything that's going on with the interviews, new shows, movie news, TV news. You can follow us on Instagram at Furloughed Film Talks or on Twitter at Furloughed Film. So we will be putting all that stuff out there for you guys. We love doing this. But ultimately, we just love talking movies and getting that information out to people. So that is what we will be doing from now on. Like talking about a Son of Kong movie, Ryan.
I saw this.
This is what we are going to kick the show off with. This kind of came across yesterday from the Hollywood Reporter, where they are reporting that Adam Wingard is in talks for Legendary's next Monsterverse film. And Adam Wingard is the guy who directed Godzilla vs. Kong.
Really?
Yes.
So they are extending the Monsterverse.
It sounds like it. It looks like, and this is what they kind of go into it in this article, is they were not really felt great about the Monsterverse after Godzilla King of the Monsters. The box office for that was not great. But once Godzilla vs. Kong came out and it just blew it out of the water, they are now like, maybe we have something here. And they were thinking, and it's weird because the end of this article, literally, the last line is, in fact, one possible title being floated internally, ? Son of Kong.
Yeah, this sounds like someone made this shit up, though. Like,
yeah,
the whole Son of Kong thing.
Yeah, it's very weird to like throw out a title this early. Like,
right.
This is so ridiculously far in the process.
Like, there's no possible way they have like a script or like a story. No. They were just basically went to the director of Godzilla vs. Kong and was like, "Hey, that went well. Would you mind doing another one for us?" And he's probably like, "Maybe. Talk to my people."
Yeah,
and, like,
talk to my people.
Like, they're in the early stages of like signing him onto the movie. So, I mean, there's probably like a rough idea of maybe they want to like follow Kong as he like, I don't know, somehow has a lineage in Hollow Earth or some crazy shit. So I think people dug that. I think people kind of were into the whole
Hollow Earth kind of concept.
Yeah, Hollow Earth, Inner Earth, like stuff.
And supposedly, I think he was pretty integral in like coming up with that concept, or like really going deep into it. Yeah, so however, Wingard is said to have been very involved in creating Godzilla vs. Kong set pieces, as well as the world building for the movie's Hollow Earth plotline. So like he was super integral into kind of creating that aspect of it. And so like for them, I think they really want to kind of keep going down that Kong road. Mm-hmm. But it's so early, and like any writer or director, whenever they're asked about this kind of stuff, they're like, well, like, if there's a good story and like if there's like a real real way for this story to continue doing it, like developing, then yeah, like I'm down to do another movie. But like, and obviously he was involved in directing the last one and probably has ideas, but like it's only been a month now since, not even.
It's like 3 weeks maybe.
It came out March 31st, and so we're coming up on a month.
Okay, about a month.
Yeah, so it's like
feels like it's been shorter than that.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's not been enough time for them to really conceptualize something fully for a story for a Kong basically sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong. So like to have that idea that like, oh yeah, Son of Kong is what we want to do, like that just feels like somebody was kind of like, hey, how do we get people kind of hyped about this? Like just put Son in front of Kong and see people lose their shit. Which it worked. Like people were freaking out yesterday.
Right.
Because
I mean, anything with King Kong is gonna like get people excited. Yeah. Right. Since it has such a long history.
Have we ever seen a Kong lineage story or like a descendant of Kong?
Yeah, something I was gonna ask you. If like I don't think so. I mean, maybe like the whole Kong story is much more fleshed out in the Japanese versions of these movies, but not that I can recall. I mean, but then again, I've only seen like Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong Skull Island, and then that really shitty one that came out in like the early 2000s, or like
the one with Jack Black that was like 3 hours long.
Yeah, it was like Jack Black and Judd Apatow's wife, I think.
Yeah. Son of Kong was originally released in 1933. The movie was rushed into production following the release of the original King Kong, which also hit theaters that same year. Jesus. It was produced miraculously fast as a way for the studio to capitalize on the success. The movie centers on the same showman who brought Kong to New York. He returns to Skull Island and finds King Kong's son, a spunky, smaller, though still large ape with a winning personality. Carl Denham rescues Kong Jr. from quicksand and as a result finds himself a devoted protector. So like he goes back to Skull Island and like finds his kid, which like, yeah, I can see how they made that like super fast. They were like, just say he goes and finds his kid and that's it.
This was a movie?
Yeah, this was in 1933.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so almost 90 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that there's like something out there.
No, yeah. So like, and this, if they do like a Son of Kong movie, there will be no way in hell that like it follows that plot. Like it'll be something completely different.
Yeah, of course. It'll be something like completely unique.
Yeah. And
I mean, honestly, it might not even tie into like the existing Monsterverse. Might be something completely new, or it could tie into the like existing Monsterverse. Would be like 30 years down the line, where the like Kong that we just saw in Godzilla vs. Kong is like dead or just died or something like that.
I'm just interested to see how he has a freaking kid. It did not look like there was another giant monkey running around that island, or around Hollow Earth, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can go in and out of Hollow Earth and find some, freaky ape in Africa.
Yeah, just go find, the 300 foot tall Kong is just gonna find a 6 foot ape. I can't wait. I think
shit has happened.
You'd watch the shit out of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be excited for it.
Yeah, especially the same guy who made I love Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah. So if it's the same director, same like general team, for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
which I think it will be. Because there was rumors that he was going to be involved in like, seeing where this was going to go. Even when like Godzilla vs. Kong had already when it had just come out. So like he had kind of said like, like the Monsterverse kind of needs to figure itself out. Like we need to kind of see where this is going to go. So like he obviously they're wanting to keep him in the fold, which I think is a very smart move.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, we will keep an eye on all of that stuff as it develops. This probably will not be a movie until 2024 at like the earliest.
Yeah, maybe like late 2023, but
yeah,
God only knows.
Who knows? Yeah, so we'll definitely keep.
When did Godzilla King of the Monsters come out? So,
That was 2018, I'm pretty sure.
so yeah, they've been going at like a 3 to 4 year clip, I guess. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was like 3 to 5 years.
2019.
2019?
Yeah. Yeah, so late 2023 would probably make sense.
Yeah. Even though like everything's gonna be backed up so bad, so who
Yeah,
knows? Like
I mean-
it's definitely gonna be longer than 2 years. We'll just put it
No,
that way.
for sure. Because like I know, like they obviously with Godzilla King of the Monsters versus Godzilla versus Kong, like they obviously had the plan already in place for all those movies. So like a 2 year gap, they knew that this was coming next, anyways.
Mhm.
So like whereas this, like it looks and feels like they're coming from. They have no idea where this is going, like where the story progresses from here. So it'll be kind of a wait and see on how quickly they can get that to everybody. But that is Son of Kong. Next, Ryan, we watched the Oscars on Sunday night. You were not wanting to watch all 3 hours, but you sat through about a good.
No, I didn't want to sit in front of a camera for 3.5 hours because I think like the majority of that live stream was just
Us being silent.
silence.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is fine with us, but yeah, it's kind of weird on a live stream. But
Right.
we had a good time,
Sure.
and it ended on an absolutely insane note.
Yeah.
So let's just run through some of the most memorable portions of the Oscars. Which moment do you want to start with the most?
How about Glenn Close twerking
I was gonna go there
on
as
Daniel
well.
Kaluuya?
Yeah, well, near Daniel Kaluuya.
Pretty much on top of Daniel Kaluuya.
Supposedly she like had watched the music video for Da Butt and like had done research into Spike Lee movies or something.
Wait, is the butt okay? Is that a modern song or like a? Because I have the feeling that was like a '70s song or some shit. Is there a music video for it?
Yes, there is. Hold on. So, yeah, Spike Lee's in it. This
Okay.
was 1988.
Huh.
So,
So
obviously
she knew
1988.
like the guy was gonna ask her about it.
Yeah, so little Rel Howery, I think is the guy's name, that was doing like that segment, which they threw in because they didn't think the whole award show was going to go long enough. So they're like, throw this
maybe
in
you
there.
give them enough fucking time for the in memoriam, and then
which
you
we'll get to
have
that
do
in a
this fucking
second.
skit. But
yeah, so little Rel Howery was talking and like went and did that. And she knew that she was gonna come over there or he was gonna come over there and ask him about it or ask her about it.
okay,
And that's how that all got set up. And so yeah,
I think that had to be the most jaw dropping part of the night was
by far
seeing Glenn Close twerk her
very old
and surprisingly large derriere.
Yeah, I mean yeah,
right in front of
70
Daniel Kaluuya's face.
74-year-old booty in
Yeah.
front of Daniel Kaluuya's face, who had just won an Oscar and who must have been questioning all of his life decisions.
I will give it to her though. She did she had the moves.
Yeah, she was down. Like
she was moving pretty good.
She was not like half-assing it.
No, it was it was like seeing your grandmother like get up and
For sure.
But I mean she was limber, she had good flexibility, she had good
movement.
Good rhythm.
Arthritis obviously has not set in.
No, so
but
that was a hell of a moment.
that was awesome. But
Yeah,
that was like one of the highlights of like the entire night.
that was funny,
Her-
right?
Yoon Young Jung winning Best Supporting Actress.
Yes.
That was awesome.
And then Brad Pitt having to corral her
yes.
around backstage.
I feel kind of bad for her because supposedly in the pressers afterwards, that was the only thing people wanted to fucking ask her about.
Was Brad Pitt?
Yeah, literally one reporter came up to her and was like, "What did he smell like?" And she was like, "I don't know. I'm not a dog. Like what? And, I didn't smell him."
She said that.
Yeah. So it's like, that's a terrible fucking question. Like,
so funny.
yeah, she's amazing.
I love that woman.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was amazing. Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho. Yeah,
Him presenting Best Director
Yeah.
was super cool.
Joaquin Phoenix getting up there and just being Joaquin Phoenix for 30 seconds.
That was cringe.
Yeah, that was super cringe.
That
But
was bad.
I just I give him credit for never changing. He is just him 100%. He's himself 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, and he obviously just doesn't like being up on stages, like giving speeches.
I don't know why they made him do that. Like,
because he won Best Actor last year.
who gives a fuck? Like,
that's the tradition. The Best Actor and Best Actress come back every year and give it to...
They've done that all 93 years?
Yes. It's a tradition for how long? I have no idea.
I call bullshit, and I would argue that it's far more important to, like, have a meaningful presentation of the Best Actor nominations rather than Joaquin Phoenix just, like...
being awkward as all
half-ass is fucking like,
which like I don't think is half-ass. I think like legitimately he's just super uncomfortable up there.
He was in front of like 20 people in that room. Like, I don't,
I have no idea, dude.
Because like I get it. It's Joaquin Phoenix. If you compare and contrast like Renee Zellweger to Joaquin Phoenix and the different like presentations.
Yeah.
It's pretty stark.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing. I don't know how the hell they're gonna do it next year, because Anthony Hopkins won, and he doesn't like going to like. He definitely doesn't like going.
Tough shit. He's gonna have to go.
Yeah. Well,
I guess if that's that's the thing.
Yeah. Who knows with him?
But is that why he wasn't at this one, or was it because of COVID?
It's both. So
or was he using the COVID excuse as?
He's also 83 years old, and he didn't want to travel. Like, they had a hub in London, because he lives in Wales.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't remember what it was, but he kind of had said that he was, like, kind of okay with, like, going to London, but, like, they were like, no, like, you got to be here, or something super strange.
They wanted him in LA.
And it was like, this just seems super odd. But then they wouldn't even let him like zoom in to do an acceptance speech from his home. Like, they told him no.
He should have just been able to go to London and done it.
I don't know what everything all about that was about, but like for him it was the COVID worries, because he is 83 years old. He's really old.
And he hasn't had the vaccine yet.
I have no idea what that little motherfucker does. But
it's fucking Anthony Hopkins. Like, get him a fucking...
Yeah, get him a vaccine.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Like...
But that was by...
Some white trash in Alabama that's got a vaccine over Anthony Hopkins, so he couldn't be in LA for the Oscars.
Seriously. But that was by far the biggest surprise of the night.
Yes. Okay. With the huge caveat, would we have been as surprised as we were if we had seen The Father before the Oscars had taken place?
I would have still been surprised. I don't know if I would have been that surprised, because we watched The Father. It is incredible. We will get into that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
His performance is incredible. They're both good performances, but if you are objectively saying like which one is better, Anthony Hopkins is better. So it's like,
yeah,
he deserved the award. This is not a thing where it's like he didn't deserve the award and he won. So yeah, I don't think I would have been as surprised if we had seen the movie beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, saying that, I would have thought, even if watching it, with what happened with Chadwick Boseman passing away, like, I would have thought more people would have voted for him because of that happening. So I am still surprised that, like, he didn't win the award.
I'm not, actually.
Okay.
Like, just because, I mean, Anthony Hopkins was, like, his performance was, like, noticeably better. Like, a good degree better than what Chadwick Boseman did, right? And, like, I mean, I don't know exactly what the morality is here, but, you know, do you think someone should just win Best Actor just because they passed away? Like, should that be considered in the voting? Like,
that's such an interesting conversation to have, because, like, I would like to go back and look at, like, 2008, and I'm not saying, like, Heath Ledger was not, he did not deserve that win. What I would like to do is go back and see what else was nominated. Yeah. Just to compare and contrast. But I would say, without even looking at it right now, that Heath Ledger deserved that head and shoulders above anything else that came out that year. Yeah. Just because of that performance.
That's like...
So it's such a different comparison, but that's like what your first thought goes to.
Right. Like, that's such a... apple and oranges comparison because like Heath Ledger's performance in that movie was like
And he was best supporting actor.
true.
Yeah.
And like not only was it in what's going to go down as the most iconic superhero movie of all time, it was like the best performance in a superhero movie of all time. Like you just cannot compare the two. You cannot compare like the performances between Heath Ledger and Chadwick Boseman. You can't compare the movies they were in whatsoever. Like no one's gonna talk about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in like 5 to 10 years. Everyone will always know about The Dark Knight.
For sure. No, that's a really good point. Yeah. But my point, and you know why I'm bringing this up, because that's the last one that comes to mind.
That's the easiest like comparison to make.
So, but to your point earlier was like, if they pass away, do they automatically like? Do you throw that in there?
Not even automatically. Like, is it even a consideration?
No, that's what I'm saying. Do you consider it as well? And I don't know. Like,
I don't think you should. Like, honestly,
I don't think you should either, because then it becomes a thing where it's like you're really, if you're voting for them on that merit, you're really trying to say that their entire career deserved one, and that you're giving it to them in their last role. And that's what this whole like ideas of voting for them and like him winning, instead of it being no, like this is the performance that deserves it. Like we are nominating this singular performance and what they did in this singular 2 or hour and a half to 2 hour movie. Well, both of these movies were hour and a half, so hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of go off of those roles only.
Yeah, of course.
And that's hard for people, though.
You really have to consider is like take into consideration if 2020 had been like a normal year and all the movies that were supposed to come out in 2020 actually came out, like I think it's a serious question to ask. Would Chadwick Boseman would even not, and you also throw in like the caveat, just say 2022 was a normal year, all the normal movies came out, and Chadwick Boseman didn't pass away. Would he even been nominated for Best Actor? Like, I think that's a serious question because
I think he would have. I don't know. I mean, it's a good question.
Like,
I think he still would have been nominated.
It was such a light year for like new movies that it could have been pretty fucking close.
It would have been very close, but like because the guys who got nominated, and this is the other thing that I wanted to look up when I was thinking about this. The guys who got nominated this year were Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Gary Oldman for Mank, and Steven Yeun for Minari. Like, all of those are super deserving. I think. Like,
but you can. The thing is, you can just off the top of my head, I can think of like 2 or 3 more performances that like definitely should have been nominated. Right, like Baby Teeth.
Yeah, okay, we talk about that a lot, yeah.
Like, what's his name?
Ben Mendelsohn, but I think he would have been technically supporting actor. And that gets into, like, the, like, super weird conversation about, like...
Well, the news is the drug addict the lead actor in that movie?
No, I would have said the girl would have been the lead actress, and there would not have been a lead actor. Because technically in The Father, he was Anthony Hopkins was lead actor, and Olivia Colman was
best supporting actress.
Yes, she was nominated for best supporting actress. So you technically would have made Ben Mendelsohn in this case would have been best supporting actor. Which that's the fucking gymnastics you have to do about all the categories.
Right.
Sorry.
So anyways, like I don't know. It's an interesting like thought experiment to say if all this had happened or whatnot, but. Yeah, to be honest, like, it I don't think it should have been a surprise to anyone that Anthony Hopkins, like...
Didn't win.
Yeah.
No, I think it is interesting. It was a crazy thing to have happen, and then when I just looked at it, like, he won the BAFTA for Best Actor, and he won, like, nothing else. Like, he won some, like, critics and, like, people awards, but
when Chadwick Boseman won it for the
Globes,
Golden Globes,
and the Emmys, I think, or no, just the Globes. So it's interesting that like all of that went down, and it was the prevailing thought that he was going to win. But that was by far the biggest surprise of the night.
You surprised by anything else, like?
So we talked about cinematography.
Yeah, and the fact that the Nomadland cinematographer didn't win.
Yeah, and we said Mank won that one.
Which I think that, again, is... That one's not quite as noticeable as, like, Anthony Hopkins being better than Chadwick Boseman, but
yeah.
it shouldn't be, like, any surprise. Like, Mank was...
Great cinematic. Yeah.
Cinematically beautiful.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
and
just by
done
far.
in such a... Like, the task they took on, you know, portraying 1930s Hollywood in black and white, like, they did it amazingly.
Perfect. Yeah,
So
and that's not to say, like, I'm not saying Mank was not deserving. It's just, I thought Nomadland was a little bit better, marginally better. And so I was surprised that they went that route. I would have said Best Actress, but, like, when I look back at it, I'm not surprised by that at all. Frances McDormand won that for Nomadland. Nomadland won the most Oscars this year with 3, which is a little bit lower than normal. But that is because the Mank, The Father, Tenet, Judas, and The Black Messiah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Soul, and Sound of Metal were among those that took 2. So all of those also got 2 awards. So they really split up.
Yeah, it was really spread out.
Yeah, which is good. Like, that's really cool that, you know, all these movies got recognized for all these different roles, and then Trial of the Chicago 7 got 0. Like, that's kind of wild to me, but...
Do you think Chloe Zhao... I don't know. That's another weird one. Like, I don't think that is the right choice, honestly.
I don't know. Like, who are the other ones that are nominated? There's Vinterberg, her, Sorkin. Oh crap.
Fincher.
Yeah. I want to say, like, out of the 5 that were... Why is this out of order? Directing. Zhao, Vinterberg, Fincher, Lee Isaac Chung, and Emerald Fennell. So Sorkin wasn't even nominated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think Fincher or Minari.
Lee Isaac Chung.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that one's really, really close. But
it's close. I think it should have been either Chung. I think it should have been Fennell, or it should have been Zhao. Like, Fennell for Promising Young Woman was great.
Yeah. Like, Meg was such a, like, technically difficult movie to make, and just, I don't know. That one is...
That's also really, really hard to...
Yeah.
But supposedly, like, Zhao was instrumental in crafting those shots and crafting kind of the cinematography behind everything. And, like, Feige said today, Kevin Feige said that, you know, I was watching those clips, or like the cuts from the Eternals, and was like, holy crap, like, this is amazing, like, these shots are amazing, it's beautiful. And then he went and saw Nomadland, and he was like, oh shit, this is her style, like, this is her. So I think that is very much, like, everything that we saw that was, like, cinematically beautiful about that movie comes from Zhao's eye and her perspective and what she wants to put on the film.
Great, so we can look forward to a beautifully shot Eternals with a dog shit fucking story.
Probably, yeah.
Cool, awesome.
We'll see. As long as nobody shits in a bucket in the Eternals, I'll be absolutely happy.
Right. I'm probably just jaded because, like, out of the 4 movies, you know, out of Nomadland, Minari, Mank, and anything else, like, Nomadland is definitely at the bottom of that list. So
yeah, and it's hard.
Promising Young Woman, like, I liked Promising Young Woman, Minari, and Mank way better than I did
Father?
Nomadland.
Did you like The Father more than Nomadland?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
It's hard because, like, I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the message that they were trying to portray or, like, convey through Nomadland. It's just some of it is really hard to, like, get through, and it's really fucking slow, and some of it's just kind of hard to kind of grasp. So, but I'm excited for the Eternals because I think she's gonna have done a kick-ass job with that movie. So that will be something very much to look forward to.
Yep.
So, as always, we are going to jump into a movie review right now. We put these out to give you guys kind of an idea of what movies you should be checking out so that if you are thinking about watching something, you will have this to listen to or watch onto YouTube.
Even though by this point you definitely should have seen The Father.
Yes,
Which is the movie
well,
we're going to review.
most people don't see those like kind of artsy movies. So
Yeah, this was like
So
and this is one that like you didn't really hear a ton about until award season.
Exactly.
Like when it came out, I don't think they did much marketing.
No, they did not do much at all. And so, weird. So as always, subscribe to the channel to get more reactions and reviews through here. Always look out for those as we do and get more movies reviewed out there for y'all. So check that out. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll get all of those. But Ryan,
Our YouTube channel.
Our YouTube channel, yes.
Apologies for those listening.
Or if you are listening, subscribe on.
Yeah, go over to YouTube and.
Or go to the Apple Podcast and subscribe on there because you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, so you can do that there too.
Can you?
Yeah, you definitely can. I will demonstrate it real fast.
Not the paid prescription yet.
No, not those yet.
Okay.
Maybe I'm already subscribed.
Don't worry about it. That's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are talking about The Father, which came out last year. It is directed by Florian Zeller, which is based off of his play that he wrote in 2012. This was a movie that is based off a play, same as Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. But this, unless you knew that, you probably would not be able to tell at all.
Yeah.
So I think that is
far less than Ma Rainey Black Bottom.
for sure.
Yeah.
But Ryan, do you want to give a quick synopsis of what this movie was about?
Anthony Hopkins has dementia and loses his mind.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's one of the you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts. So
very neat.
So
You haven't even
huh? I unsubscribed to extract it.
Okay.
So this movie is based around Anthony Hopkins. He has dementia. He is living in a flat that he tells everybody is his.
Where is he?
Wait, what? Oh, we'll get to that shit in a second.
Yeah.
And his daughter is always coming over to look after him, who is played by Olivia Colman, who is an amazing actress. But you start to quickly realize that not everything is as it seems, because he is forgetting things. He is always looking for his watch.
Many strange characters make their way throughout the story, and they're characters that other characters are unaware of or don't see. So it's very much the entire movie is like a literal trip.
Yeah, it's like a psychological thriller of almost. But what this movie does really, really well is gets you into that crux of what it is like to be kind of living in the mind of somebody with dementia as like the apartment is changing, and kind of the despair and the almost like what's the right word I'm looking for? Paranoia.
Yeah.
Because he has this daughter who is looking after him, and he's calling her cunning and conniving and like trying to steal my flat. And Anthony Hopkins absolutely just knocks it out of the park from like the very first second he's on screen.
So I think we had two very different interpretations of this movie.
Okay.
Is the way I saw this movie, or at least like the way I understood it once the last scene had been revealed, and this is going to spoil the movie. Absolutely.
Spoilers from here on out.
So I interpreted it as like the entire movie was a hallucination of his, and he was actually in the nursing home the entire time, just him thinking he was still in his flat, and he was slowly coming to terms with the fact that he was actually in a nursing home, and we don't actually get to see the reality of his situation until that very last scene where it shows that he wakes up in a nursing home, and the different characters that had been coming through the story were actually just the nurse at the nursing home, an orderly at the nursing home, like the one character that was one of his nurses throughout the story was just actually his dead daughter. So, I interpreted the entire movie up to the point where they finally show us that he's in a nursing home as his hallucination, thinking that he's still in his flat, and every day slowly comes to the realization that, oh shit, I'm in a nursing home.
I was under the impression that, and what I got at the end was he was at his home, and what was happening was she was starting to realize, was the daughter's name Amy? Anne, played by Olivia Colman. She is having to come to the realization that like she can't take care of him, and he had moved into her place.
Okay.
And then she says basically in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie that she's moving to Paris.
Yeah.
And I think my interpretation of that was he kept forgetting everything, and there would be these moments of where he would be lucid and he would be back to kind of himself, and those would be the moments where you start to see the apartment kind of getting packed up. Those were those moments where it's hey, he's lucid, this is actually what's happening, and then it would kind of go back to him thinking it was still his flat. And then that end of the movie is another lucid moment where he is being left at the nursing home because Anne can't take care of him anymore.
Yeah.
And that moment is where because he then goes to sleep, and then he wakes up, and it's weeks later,
months later.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's been months later.
If that interpretation is correct, then from the time that he fell asleep the last time in his flat to the morning where he woke up in the nursing home, they jumped 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I think that.
Yeah, and I guess your theory has a lot of legs there, because then it would be what everything we had just seen would have technically taken place in that space of time.
Everything was happening in real time, just everything prior to him waking up in the nursing home was him acting out him being in his flat. He's just running around the nursing home being fucking crazy.
Which that makes a lot of sense, because there's a scene halfway through the movie where he walks in on Anne and her new boyfriend, fiance, husband, who's played by Rufus Sewell, who he's going crazy or whatever, and they're oh shit, and then they sit down for dinner and blah blah blah, and the fight picks up, and then all of a sudden that scene ends with them saying that exact line.
Yeah, the whole scene resets to the initial point.
And then there's a scene where he puts the wine glass down and says something to him. He's when are you gonna stop being on everybody's tit? And then you see it again. So there is, I think, something to that where it's in that moment where he gets dropped off and Olivia Colman's isn't this nice? This is where you're gonna be. I'm going to Paris.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins is well, what about me? What about me? And then it kind of fades to black, and he goes to sleep, and he wakes up. Yeah, I could see that basically is the entire movie is where that started.
Yeah, and especially the one that kind of really solidified it for me was the scene where he wakes up and he walks down the hall and he opens the doors, and then he's all of a sudden in a hospital setting, and he walks through the hallway, and he finally goes to the area where his daughter. It's the same area where his daughter had died.
He sees his daughter.
I think when he opened those doors, and that hallway was almost the exact same fucking hallway they showed when he opens the door from inside his nursing home room.
Yeah.
I think that dream sequence, wherever it was, where he goes and sees his daughter, his dead daughter, is him. That's the first time they're showing us him walking through the nursing home. That I see that was just him getting up and he's walking around and hallucinating in the middle of the night.
And he's hallucinating that like that's his daughter.
Yeah.
And which like makes a lot of sense because like it's proven that like he was hallucinating his daughter as the caretaker.
Exactly.
Because that gets then revealed as the nurse from the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I could definitely see that where like, and that's the like that, and that's kind of the brilliant part of this whole movie is like, you don't know what is real. Like you don't know other than the scenes where like you're focused in on Olivia Colman and Anthony Hopkins is like nowhere to be found. You do not understand or know what is true because you're seeing it from a fragmented point of view.
Right. They absolutely never ground you in reality at any point. Like there's multiple conflicting scenes. Like the one where, you know, at the beginning of the movie, Olivia Colman, Anne tells Anthony, like, hey, I'm moving to Paris. I met this guy I'm in love. I'm going to have to leave you. You know, you're going to need someone to watch after you. And then there's the next time that comes up, they're talking to a doctor in a doctor's office, and he's like, well, she's moving to Paris. I'm like, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, what are you talking about? I didn't, you know, and then, like, you know, a while down the line, later in the movie, it comes up again, and now we've switched again to, yes, no, I'm leaving. Like, you know, I'm moving to Paris. You need to find, like, you're going to be alone. You need someone to watch after you.
Need to take, I physically cannot take care of you any longer.
They did that
mentally or like physically.
Right. And they did that like very deliberate, like confusement of what actually is happening.
Yeah.
Like what is reality and what is in Annie's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What is his delusion? And as the audience member, as like the viewer, you were very much having the same experience as Anthony, as someone with, you know, a mind that is failing them, right? That is, they are like basically duplicating for you what it feels like to go senile.
Yeah, which it's really insane to like watch. It's really heartbreaking at points to watch. And the other angle of that is from Anne's point of view. Like, she's already lost her sister,
mm-hmm.
and now her dad has dementia, and like for about 75% of the movie is horrible to her.
Yeah.
Because of the paranoia, because of like, you know, this deep-seated like misunderstanding of what is going on around him, and she just kind of has to take that because like she has to look after him. And there are only one or two times where he like said, like there's one time in the movie where she's like Anne, thank you for everything. Mm-hmm. And that is a really like
that was probably the most powerful part of the movie.
Yeah, it's like 1A, 1B for me. The B one we'll talk about in a second. It's the very ending of this movie. But like you have those moments and it's just like holy shit. Like, and then there's a really poignant scene where, and it took me a little bit to realize it, but she's at the kitchen sink like washing something, and she kind of like exhales and then looks downstairs, and across the way there's a young couple like in the window like having a great time, and she's not able to do that type of thing because of the weight of what she's responsible for now. Mm-hmm. And that's just like, oh Jesus Christ, like she didn't really agree to this, but she's still fulfilling that commitment that she had made, up to the point where she literally cannot do it anymore. Like, mm-hmm. there's nothing more that she can do for her dad. Like, and this movie shows you everything that she's going through. And so that's just another angle of this that like is acted and really just portrayed beautifully and perfectly in this.
Yeah. It even is extended to like, see, this movie's so confusing. Like, I don't even know how this character fits in, but who's the guy that who's the more famous actor who
Rufus? Her, let's just call her husband.
Husband,
yeah,
right?
The one that she's moving to Paris with.
Is he the Frenchman? I thought it was like that might have been his ex-husband or ex-husband.
No, my understanding was that was who she was moving to Paris with.
In any case, like that, like emotional helplessness, like even extends to like someone who is like tangentially connected to the situation, right? Like,
yeah.
she is completely emotionally like drained of what is happening, and like her spouse, her partner, is
Paul.
completely helpless in what to do. Like it's very clear he is, completely at a loss of like what they should do, and he's like extremely frustrated. So it's such like a complicated situation because it just affects everyone in your life when this kind of thing happens. Like any health, like serious health condition does.
Which is like for Paul specifically, it's like he has no real emotional connection to Anthony. His emotional connection and like who he looks out for emotionally is going to be Anne.
Right, and how like he's connected to how it's affecting Anne.
Yeah, exactly. And so his arguments are always like, you need to do like what is going to do best for you, and ultimately like what is going to be best for your father, because like you taking this emotional abuse and you like being his caretaker as he degrades,
Yeah.
whatever the word is, goes like farther down that hole. He's not going to be taken care of enough because you do not have the training to do that. So it's like this weird argument, or it makes complete sense what the argument is of why like he's kind of like, you just need to kind of like let this go. No, I think like, I don't know if beautiful is the right word. It's poignant.
I was thinking about that. Like, this isn't a movie. The best way to describe it is like, there's movies that you really enjoy watching that they give like Wolfwalker, right?
Yeah.
You enjoy watching that movie, and it gives you. There are very sad parts of it, but like the overall emotion you're going to derive from that movie is like happiness and wonderment and like childlike sensibility of the world, right?
Yeah, just a childlike point of view.
Yeah, this is not a movie like this is kind of similar to like the Joker, where like you're not going to enjoy watching this movie. This isn't like a fun movie to watch, but it does like do what all great movies should do, is like incite a very strong emotion in you, and like the emotion that this like overridingly gives is one of just like complete surrenderness to like the overwhelming like
disease that is dementia.
No, the overwhelming like finality of life. Like none of us are gonna escape what Anthony is going through.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like some people might not like have it to that severity. Like I don't know what the statistics are, but like probably most people aren't gonna have dementia. Most people aren't gonna have Alzheimer's, but everyone is going to lose their faculties in one way or another.
Yeah.
You might be as smart as a whip like until the day you die, but you sure as fuck aren't going to be like running marathons until the day you die.
Yeah,
you're not going to be.
Really good point. Yeah.
And like this movie, again, it's not fun to watch, but it does like it makes you think about, hey, what things are important in your life? Like, how do you want your final years to go? How do you even think about your final years? Like,
yeah, it's a really hard thing to have to think about. But like this movie, it's sorrowful, and like just like that descent is the right word. That descent that you just watch happen. Like it's really hard to watch. But like I think that what this movie does really well is it puts you into that mind cinematically, and does a lot of really cool things with like the apartment and the settings to get you to be like, oh, like what in the hell is going on, and kind of portrays it in that very different way. And so I thought that was interesting. Like I'd watch it again just from that angle.
Yeah.
To kind of get a better understanding of what's going on, to get a better understanding of what was changing and what was real and what was not. Like I think that is what's great about this movie. And it ends with that scene where he is in the nursing home and he is lucid for a little bit, and he just breaks down crying, and he's like calling for his mom and like
Mm-hmm.
all this different stuff, like that feeling like of just helplessness, like that is a powerful fucking scene.
Yes.
So
Like, this movie is powerful in, a couple ways. Like, one, it's going to make you, like, truly appreciate the people you have in your life. Like, it's going to be, like, it's going to make you, like, it's going to make you want to call your grandmother. It's going to make you want to call your parents. Like,
hell yeah.
it's going to make you want to, like, appreciate every little moment in your life that you possibly can. And then on the other hand, like, it's very powerful in displaying the amount of strength and perseverance it takes to be like a caretaker. It's that last scene where he breaks down, like, he starts that scene off with being like a complete jackass to the nurse.
Yeah.
And by the end of the scene, he is breaking down crying, and the nurse is like has her arm around him, comforting him, trying to like ease his pain, right? And they show it multiple times with Anne, with the several nurses that they show in this movie. Like, it's a really powerful reminder of what it takes and what those people go through in order to be like have basically the role in life of taking care of other people.
No, it's an incredible movie. I was just looking up real fast because I was like, the main character's name is Anthony, played by Anthony Hopkins. So I was like,
Anthony,
whatever. I wanted to see like what they called the guy in the original movie, and his name was Andre.
In the theater play.
In the play,
yeah.
So, Ryan, what would you give this movie out of 5 Max Jindo head rating?
I think of 4.25.
Okay, I will go a 4.5.
Okay.
This is one of the better movies that we've seen from 2020.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely deserved a Best Picture nomination. And it was put out.
Everyone who got nominated as Best Actors and Actresses definitely deserved it.
Absolutely deserved it. And we would highly recommend that you go see this movie.
Congratulations to Anthony Hopkins for winning Best Actor.
Yeah.
Who won Best Supporting Actress?
Yoo Jung.
Of course.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
So
there's no. I mean, you think that's well deserved over
for sure.
Olivia Colman?
Yeah, for sure. Just because of the ending of that movie, but and then Best Supporting Actor Daniel Kaluuya. So, nah, man, this is a good one.
Sweet.
Yeah, we've got another one coming up on Friday.
Yeah, a little preview for you guys. We're gonna be watching Without Remorse,
which will be
it's a Tom Clancy Amazon Prime movie with Michael B. Jordan.
So that will be coming out Friday. The movie comes out Friday. We will be reviewing it Friday. We will have it out for y'all by Saturday, so be looking out for that. But everybody, be safe. Tell 3 friends of yours, 3 movie lovers that you know just like yourself, because if you're listening to this, you probably are a movie lover or a TV show lover. So tell 3 of your TV or movie lover friends to check out the show, because they will have a lot of great information that they can glean from this. But everybody have a good rest of your week, and we will see y'all next time.
Adios, amigos.